Hello and welcome back to Business as Unusual. My name is Megan and I hope that you and your family are all safe and well. Just to give a little bit of an introduction for those people that are tuning in fresh today, Greater London Properties set up a Facebook group called Central London's Lockdown Support Group. This support group is mainly to provide that platform for businesses that are open, for businesses that are closed but still generating revenues, charities and organisations in central London, just to communicate what they're up to at the moment and how we can support them. Now, we've been doing these live chats for the past couple of weeks at 11:30 every single weekday, mainly to meet the people behind the businesses and to find out a little bit more how lockdown has affected them and just to see if they can share any kind of advice or tips and tricks to the rest of us. Now, I'm really excited about today. We're speaking to Magda Harbour from Morton Harbour, who's a qualified therapist. She's based on Oldbury Street in Marylebone, which is just off Marylebone High Street. And with being in the 6th week of lockdown at the moment, I really did think that we would need to chat to a therapist, and I think that Magda is the best one for it. So hi Magda, I'm really excited to speak to you today.
Thank you very much, Megan, for inviting me, and welcome everyone. It's so nice to be with you and to be talking to everyone today, and I hope that everybody will find something for themselves and I will be of some support and help. That's primarily my function anyway in business and life.
And you're very good at it.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit more, for the people that don't know, a little bit more about your background and how you got started.
Oh, I started about now 14 years ago when I've changed my career from working in a city, and it was a lovely job. I really liked it, and working as a computer or software engineer, and that was a change of heart at the time, and sort of following the calling really, and my deep interest in psychology, in people, and helping, and following the compassion really, and passion for that subject. So I decided to change the career, and I qualified as a therapist, a hypnotherapist as well as that. And now being 11 years, and
wow.
I actually calculated this a little bit better yesterday, and all in all, probably is about an excess of 15,000 clinical hours. And every of this hour is an absolutely pleasure. So it is a good profession, and I love it very much. So it seems like a long time, and yet every day is beautiful and new. So very much enjoying this profession. And in the Marylebone, I'm for last 5 years working alongside, or as a kind of joining venture with the very old established osteopathic clinic there as well. So fantastic people, and they're so long here. So they know all of the area for a long time ago. So it's nice sometimes to speak to them about the past too. So I'm there 3 days a week. So half of my life is spent there, and I love it, and half in East Sussex, working from the consulting room here. And I think, what else? But I lost myself a little bit on that. I'm not very good about talking about myself. I think it's more about
love it.
So that's how it started. It started very much from the interest, the love, never looked back, being there day and night. And at the moment is a particularly difficult time for everyone.
It is.
Because what's happening at the moment is one of the most difficult life-changing events people going through in a space of very short time. Of course, not to mention the most difficult one, like grief and being unwell, the isolation, but also the major event, which will be loss of job or uncertainty. So anxiety, sleepless nights, worries, that all being very exacerbated at the moment. So
yeah, and I feel as well, even the people that felt strong beforehand, so that even because not the fact that they were in denial or just kind of staying positive and staying strong for everyone, everybody can have that, even just that weekend that makes the turn for the other direction. Because I know that last weekend I was feeling a little bit down out of the blue, because people that have been watching me every day, you can see how positive and and how I'm being. But yeah, some days it just gets the better of anyone, really. So it's just important knowing that they can reach out, and they should reach out just to make it easier.
I did not agree with you more on that. Of course, the first 3 weeks, and I knew from start that the first 3 weeks is a natural psychological kind of a good time. It's a change. We have less social pressure. We don't have to travel. Of course, not the people who lost the jobs. The anxiety set on at the time straight away, but.
Yeah.
A majority of us were feeling okay. I don't need to get on train every day, and I can sleep in, and I can do all of those things I thought I cannot do, and watch films. And that's dot on the last day, on the third week. Psychologically, we shift, we change, we recuperate all of those energy, and now is a natural movement when something needs to change again, and it hasn't.
Yeah, it's so true.
And the mind immediately is searching why, what is the problem. It kicks in all the instinct of survival, and that's why we're beginning to feel down, worried. Everything is it becomes real, much more real. Past fourth week, and we all start to be really affected by. And some of us are more homebodies, and that's easier. And some of us, like myself, I'm not particularly good at being a house arrest, so we'll feel it much more. And of course, London is a particular place when it's more people, when the place is a big place and a smaller place. Everybody rather a tiny place to be and an hour of exercise. So now I knew that after the third week, I will see a escalation of depression, anxiety, worries. And of course it's happening.
Have you spoken to many NHS workers?
With NHS workers, again, there was our concern from start. Now, what is happening, and sometimes we don't quite understand, is that right at the moment they are in the zone of working, keeping their head above the water, focusing. There's the pressure, they come exhausted. They don't feel it yet.
Yeah.
This is not the time, and everybody's it's kind of, oh, we're available. Of course we're available, but I know that most of the people from NHS working, they will be talking to their loved ones, they will to their families, there will be daily update of what's happening to them. Where the real need will come is few weeks, few months from when everything will go down, when the PTSD will start to kick in. Because some of the people are holding 5 to 10 end of life conversations. Those nightmares, those traumas, those shocking experiences will caught up with them eventually. And then when I would say all of us therapists, psychologists, everyone, we need to also come together to be available for months to come, to be able to tell to them. And I'm saying to everyone, as much as I can reach out, is if you feel 3 months later that something is not quite right and you're suffering, please reach out. Even then it's a little bit more quiet, and maybe it's all come down slightly. You are really important then too. So we are available, but they're also too busy to talk to us at the moment.
Absolutely.
I think everybody doing their meals and clapping and supporting them, and Tom Moore and this small and big person, it keeps them going at the moment. That is the energy. But when that stops, when they come down, when they have less work, then when I feel anyway that will be a place, and we're preparing for it with colleagues, associates, to make sure that then those hours are available.
Yeah, that's so good. That's really good that you're thinking about that and thinking into that, because obviously they are going to need the support at that time. And it's true, I am really pleased that everybody is giving them the support at the moment with the clapping and the food and everything like this, because it is something to kind of keep their mind occupied. But yeah, you always have to think about what's going to happen afterwards, which is really important. So within your practice, what do you cover quite a lot of things, don't you? You cover.
We would like to believe that we cover everything, and we're ready for everything which can psychologically and mentally, which can and hit us. Of course, everything from not feeling quite right and not knowing why, down to deep depressions, anxiety, compulsions, addictions, combination of. So I think we
Yeah.
cover relationships, of course, work, general stress, general anxiety disorders, sleep problems. How long do we have?
Okay. Well, you can carry on if you want. I'm just mesmerized.
In general, maybe to make it a little bit shorter, if there is anything someone feels that is not quite right, or think, oh, it could be better, to very, very bad, it's welcome.
That's good. How have you found lockdown has affected you? Because I know that you have a family as well, don't you?
Yes, yes. We were joking before that I have a skip outside ready for the bodies if this is too much. This is really only a joke. Difficult, of course, it's difficult because it's time of worries, and I'm looking at my 15 years old son, which is lovely, and actually he is not difficult in any way, and he's trying his hardest, but it's worries because he's not getting enough education. We finding it difficult to keep him busy. He's bored. He wants to see his friends. So after the initial 2-3 weeks, I can see even in him, and he is quite kind of an upbeat personality, which not everybody has got. That there are moments when I could see him being down,
Yeah.
and beginning to be bored and beginning to wonder, and maybe not staying in his normal routines and habits. So that's very worrying, and I feel that will be worries for all the parents. Quite different matter is to have small children. I still don't know how people are managing this.
No, my friend has a little boy, and on his birthday, he just really couldn't understand why he couldn't have a party, because it was the first year that he actually understood about parties. So she managed to get some inflatables and just made the day. Luckily, the day was really, really sunny as well. And she just tried to make the day like as fun and as fun filled as possible, and as wet, and just crazy busy, just so that he could just completely forget that he wasn't seeing anyone. So yeah, it's difficult. It's really difficult with little ones. They just don't understand.
Of your friend. And then it's of course every day children asking, wanting, difficult to explain to them. There's level of your anxiety and stress involved because there's a constant demand. I want, what next, and there is no next. So these people doing an absolutely tremendous jobs. And if they feel, and again, if all of us feel that it comes too much, that we are losing our rack, that it's something wrong, the most important is to talk to anyone and everyone. And if you feel like talking repetitively, just do that, to get it off your chest, to inform and to share, because sharing is important. Or if it's really, 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 really difficult, to pick up that phone and talk to any professional. The thing is, a lot of initial consultations are free anyway. There is things we can reach out, and it will help. So don't stay with it on your own.
That's really good, because I know that some people as well, they want to talk about it, but then they don't want to put the burden onto someone else. So knowing that those professionals are there for them, I think that helps, because obviously you are qualified. Whereas, if someone else is having a downtime and they're not speaking about it, and then you start to talk to them about you feeling down, then it can just kind of end up in a bit of a spiral. I know that's what goes through my head sometimes anyway. Like, I don't want to put the burden on them, but that sometimes can be the problem. Just overthinking and then not speaking out. So it's really good to know that there are professionals like yourself that are available for consultations.
Sorry.
No, go on.
Anxiety and stress does have an effect of ruminating. So you will find the same thought going over and over and over. And that's why it's so important to talk. And yes, sometimes we do talk 3 times the same thing, 5:30. But if you feel like that, do talk to anyone and everyone else. It's one of those tips we're talking about later that we'll cover that talking is one of those things. Just talk. And don't worry about that you're repeating yourself.
I think that there's one thing that I could see that you cover on your website, and I didn't really, obviously I know it's a problem, but I didn't really realise that it would be, and of course it is for younger people, the social media addiction. So it probably is going to get a little bit worse with us all kind of not knowing what to do on our phones like constantly throughout the day. So a lot of younger people, like the younger generation, that all have smartphones now. I can imagine that that's going to become a little bit worse as well. What's your view on that?
It's sad. Of course, it's very sad that at the moment it's a great device. It's a great device and give so much freedom and information, and we can get so much more clever with all of these things. But young people have a tendency, as we all did, of course, and probably not any better in some subject now, that yes, we have a tendency to just look through things which they quick and entertaining. So there's no filter. And then is that habit of, okay, it's easier to reach for the phone that use the mind to create something. And it's the constant pressing, like you like, or you don't, you liking, and you could go for an hours. So if we notice that behavior in children or young people and teenagers, they will fight. Of course, they will fight. But I promise that they will fight for next 15 minutes. And once the mind make that jump from, okay, I can actually switch it off from that, they stop fighting. So for the parents, just keep on that moment when they're fighting and say, no, actually, let's do something else. Actually, I want you to put that phone down.
Yeah.
We'll be fighting to make those breaks, because if not, mind, like anybody's mind, will just go to the easiest form of entertainment. And it stop thinking on any other platform. And we'll just repeatedly doing this. And it wastes this time and it's very stressful. It can be very stressful because the amount of information reaching the brain, and the stressful information, they're quick, they're fast, they're colorful, they're not always nice information. When you go into the zone, almost hypnotic zone, when the young person opens up, doesn't have a filters. So all it goes in. And very often you find that young people cannot sleep, they have anxiety, they wake up with bad, horrifying dreams, because somehow the mind has to process all this information. They didn't have. So it is a problem, and we need to be vigilant about it and not giving immediately when they're fighting.
Allow it to happen. It's just
I don't know if I answered your question. I don't know if I've answered your question.
No, you have. Yeah, you've explained it more, and it's definitely assisted, because I think that it's natural to just be like, oh, well, they're occupied, they're happy. But it's just thinking of the repercussions down the line, and thinking of it turning into an addiction, and something hard to stop at the end of it. Magda, before we go into your tips, your daughter has also started doing something as well, hasn't she? I'm going to let you say it.
Yes, Astrid, she's absolutely wonderful. Very, very strong character, I must say. Difficult on occasions. At the moment, she is a second-year medical student in King's College. So very proud of pursuing her dream career. And now she volunteered. From the very start, she volunteered with London ambulance service. So it's not new for her. But of course, now we come to this pandemic times, and they were very busy. So she stayed in London and very bravely faced every day working long shifts on the ambulance service. And she got very quick training because people were needed. So she's absolutely frontline, facing everyday struggle with people, and she loves it. So she's there helping. learning, and I hope that she will feel very proud in the years to come.
Yeah, she should be. She should be. It's such a good thing to do at the moment, especially. I bet it's putting you through some worry, isn't it?
Trying not to think about that. We decided that this is what she has chosen as her career. She's loving it, and that's part of it. Exposure and danger, and being there for people. It will be part of her job, but there are moments that we worry. Because there was PPE and stuff, and they were just ready to get the COVID-19 and just go through it. So, but we also have those updates of every day struggling with the NHS stuff. I definitely do, and their traumas and what they're going through and what they're seeing every day. So we'll be well equipped to understand and to help them later, if not now, of course.
That's really good. And also the fact that she's able to speak to you, if she sees anything or goes through anything, then that's fantastic. So yeah, it's a really good combo. Let's talk about the some tips that you can possibly give some people at home that are going through this at the moment. So I know that you quite sorry. You help out with mental health during lockdown. Do you have any tips on this at the moment?
I was thinking actually about that yesterday quite a lot, and I would not want it to repeat the very obvious, the eating well, the sleeping, the exercising. And so I would like to concentrate on maybe just very practical things. And I don't know if this is okay or not, but we know the others. So perhaps if I just concentrate for a moment on a few things which they practical and they can actually help with that physical things happening to our body when we stress and nervous. So am I absolutely out of time, or we do have a little
keep going? I'm enjoying this. I'm not switching off.
I hope it's not going to be too much. So first thing, that's not so new, but that is important and really is important. So I would like to ask, if you feel anxious and if you're worried about health and you're worried about a lot of things, try not to overload yourself with the media and the news all the time. What it does, it creates the echo chamber. So obviously everything is in your head, then you comes back to you all the time. So it really doesn't help. We're looking in the media, we're thinking, okay, are they going to say something which is a hope or change? At the moment it's not happening. A lot of the thing is repetition, negative, more negative, more negative. Also perhaps it's important to understand and to know, or to be aware of it, whatever the word might be, is that when you have children at home and the television is on with those news, they operate different. They operate with a completely open mind without filters. So what's happening is that even if they're playing around with things, or they looks as they're not concentrating, all that information is flooded to their minds. The information they cannot process. So it's a death, it's illnesses, it's all of those things that can potentially create anxiety in the future. So if we switch the television off, or at the same time explain to them, especially younger children, what is really happening, and assure them just to have this in mind that they are taking it on all the time. So our minds too, but we have a little bit better filters. So that's the important things. I think that also important is that depends if we feel anxiety more in the morning or in the evening. But let's say from start of the day. Start of the day, if you can wake up and do what you like. So is it taking a drink or taking a moment? That's very important. But perhaps next step, something very easy, like making your bed.
Yeah.
It's like making that space now ready for the day. And if everything goes wrong in the day, you know that you always have that bed to come back to. It's the holy place. So it's simple, but it's setting your mind immediately for the right thing to do for the rest of the day. Yes, and it's lovely also. And then the third thing I would like to talk about, and that's the one which is more practical, is to use your breathing. It's the easiest way of stopping your adrenals to flood you with the stress hormones, enzymes, or whatever the case may be. It brings the blood pressure down, the heartbeats, the bed falls, everything else. But what is important is to focus on the exhale, the breathing out. Very easy, and I hope it's easy to remember, is to inhale and count 4, exhale, count at least 8. Come on, Megan, you're fantastic at that. Now, if you to practice, if you just go on and do that, then that it will come longer and longer and longer. And what it does, it stops vagus nerve, which is like a communication line between the brain and the rest of the body, connecting all the major organs. So exhale means stop. It's like a break. So you inhale, and then as long as possible you exhale. What it does, it stops the adrenals. And if the adrenal stops, yes, and it's fantastic form of meditation anywhere you can bring. Now, if you repeat that 5-10 times, as and when you need, especially when you go to bed, then the level of oxygen going to your brain is amazing, and is the best remedy for sleeping. And the level of stress and anxiety, including panic attacks, are eradicated. So I hope this helps. It's easy. 4 in, at least 8 out, 5-10 repetition as and when you need, and you will feel the difference. That's something it's easy to do, and it's not, even when you're walking, whatever, just if you remember to think, okay, I'll make that breathe out the exhale by 8, fantastic, then you know that you're physically stopping your adrenals from working. So that will be what yes, I'm looking at whatever I wrote here. Do I have a time for one more thing?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's also interesting, a little bit more interesting. The word we use, habitual word we use when we're describing our feelings. So let's say by habit, we will always say, oh, I feel horrible, I feel terrible, that was so bad. And then I would like everyone to stop for a moment, hear yourself, and really step back and think, is it really horrible? Sometimes it is, that's fine. But sometimes it's just the habit of using that particular word description. Now, mind likes to make it an experience. So if you are kind of just not happy too much about something, and you will say, oh, it's just horrible, then what your mind does feels horrible.
Yeah.
Immediately brings that emotion. And if you caught yourself and say, well, actually, no, I'm maybe peed off only, you will immediately see the difference in your body on your thinking, oh, okay, then, so it's not too bad then. Okay, so
yeah, that's such good advice.
This is really a good idea. We have a time now to look at those things, or you look at it yourself in the mirror in the morning. We all do, obviously, and say, oh, does it really have to be so bad today? And then you take another look and thinking, well, is it really? Maybe it's not actually as bad. You will see the immediate change in your posture and your body language, and you open up to it. And the same goes. Oh, the word hate is so overused. I hate this, and I hate that, and I hate him. Do you really hate him? Ask yourself the question. If you don't, you will almost make you laugh. Well, I don't really. Okay, and that's, I think, creates immediately good. So the linguistic we're using, habitual, is very important. Now, very quickly, on the other hand, we have a tendency to say, oh, somebody asks me how you're feeling. Okay. We say, okay, I feel okay, good. What about if you change thinking, I feel happy? And you might not straight away believe that you do, But because you've used that word, your mind is obliged to make it a bit better for you, because it's like a hand. Yes. So make it more hyped. So if you feel okay, say I feel happy, and then leave it at that. Mind will follow. So make it always a little bit more. Now, a couple of weeks of that here and there, and you will see you change the habit, and you will really like it. You will really, because after all day saying I hate this, I hate that, and it's clapping and all of these things, you are tired emotionally. Your body reacts. I hate, and it makes you hate. You say, oh, I don't quite like it. Okay, I can let it go. So those are the things. The breathing super important, because that's the vagus nerve, and that's the physical, linguistic, and word we're using to ourselves. Super important, and they change a lot of things, and the little routines here and there. And I really feel that it makes a difference.
Thank you so much for that. I really enjoyed all of that, because I know that I often say okay or I hate, and it's just, it's like a negative reinforcement, isn't it? So yeah, no, I'm definitely going to start doing all of this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Magda, tell people about the so you're doing, just to finish off, you're doing a Zoom chat.
Yes. We will be announcing on the website, our website, Morton Harbour, perhaps even as early as next week, that it will be open link for anyone to link in, and we'll be sitting around and answering the questions about the mental health, about tips, about where to find the help, people worries, reassurance. We are hoping for our GP associating working with us, maybe to be on the board as well. So bring another aspect on that. So absolutely everyone is welcome, and we will be there for as long as we need to answering questions, and hopefully that will again make some difference. And we will be announcing the date and the time on the website beginning of next week.
That's brilliant. So just to remind everyone, the website is www.mortonharbour.com. And you're also on Instagram and Facebook. So Instagram is @Morton_Harbour, and then Facebook, Morton Harbour. But we'll put all of these links above the video once it's been published as well, to just make sure that people can visit. Magda, I've absolutely loved this. I feel like I've had a free session myself. I'm not going to lie. I don't want this to end, but I know that I'm going to have to.
Absolutely pleasure. Thank you very much, Megan. It was lovely to speak to you and being part of everything. So good luck to everyone, and please talk to us however you like, with anything you would like to.
Thank you so much. It's so important to reach out. So even if you don't feel like you're just having a few down days and it spirals into a few more, reach out. There's people there for you, and it's good. It's important to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Have a lovely day. Take care. I hope this has helped everyone. Tomorrow we're going to be speaking to a member of the Wicked cast on the London West End, just to find out how they've been affected during lockdown. But thank you again, Magda. I've loved this. Have a good day.
Bye.